Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for clicking on today's video, another day in our advent calendar. So I hope that everyone is doing well and getting in the Christmas spirit. Now we're nearly a week into December. So we today are talking about season 2 of Generation Q, which is what I'm normally talking about a lot of the time. So we're going to be talking specifically about some Easter eggs and little things that happened this season that maybe you weren't aware of, and some little nods to the OG audience, especially that are watching Generation Q. So because it's the internet, I'm going to order it in a numerical list, but it really has no meaning. It's just for some reason YouTube likes it whenever you order things in a list. So we're going to do that. And as always, make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. I'm really trying to get to 10,000 by the end of the year, and I still have a bit to go. So I would really appreciate it. Thank you. So starting out at number 1, actually this is before they even got to film anything, and that was that a huge amount of the crew members and basically people on set had to sign in their contracts that you were not allowed to really discuss much of anything. Even the cast in their interviews have spoken about the fact that they couldn't really explain anything about the storylines going forward. Marcia Lewis Ryan, the showrunner, was running a pretty tight ship. I mean, we on this channel were able to infiltrate a little bit, and we did get some great behind the scenes stuff. I mean, you can go back to my lives and find us going through literally like the corner of a picture. Like, we knew about the wedding because they'd filmed, like the crew had filmed something, and you could see like tiny in the background, like an arch at a wedding. And then we saw Micah stunt double. So we figured this all out. I am going to be doing a video about all the predictions and like going back and watching my predictions, so definitely look out for that. But when we get season 3, I'm sure there's going to be a similar situation, so it does keep it interesting not being able to know what's going to happen. But yeah, everybody was kept on a pretty short leash. So throughout the season, we have an enormous amount of callbacks to the original show, and I'll link one of my videos above that like points out pretty much all the callbacks. And there was some great moments with Shane finally talking about Carmen and her dad and telling Angie kind of a lot of the stories from the original show. We had Bette telling Pippa that she could call Peggy Peabody. I mean, does this mean that maybe sometime down the road that we'll see Peggy Peabody back? We had some other, really great moments with Alice talking about Dana multiple times, Alice talking about her book and like bringing up other things. So it was really great to have all those moments, and it was just really nice that they had those little, winks at the OG audience. So we know the season started out with a lot of the characters playing poker, Shane especially. And if you notice, I do also have a poker video I'll link it above. And all the cast were playing poker in the second episode. And I was saying that as someone who used to work in the poker industry and know a lot about it, I was pretty sure that Jennifer Beals and Seppi Moafi had played poker a lot before, and I had this confirmed to me. So Jennifer especially has played a lot and really practiced to get that authentic look on screen. So I think they did a really great job. So as we know, and we've spoken about before, Generation Q does not translate the other languages into subtitles whenever characters are speaking in other languages. And G obviously doesn't agree with that, but A lot of the time, Marcia Lewis Ryan has told me that what the characters are talking about isn't super. You can kind of get the gist. Like, they're not revealing anything really that you can't get from kind of context, and it's only little bits of conversation. But there is one exception to this, and that is when Maribel and Micah are at Sophie and Maribel's house with the mother and grandmother, and they're all speaking about Micah in Spanish, and Maribel's mom basically says, does he know about San Diego, alluding to Maribel has taken a job somewhere else, and that may be something that we see in season 3. So if you didn't know that, that was in there, and that was one of the little things just slipped in there for the Spanish audience. So as we know, one of the big guest stars from season 2 was Rosie O'Donnell, and there is a scene in episode 7 where Leisha and Rosie are obviously playing Alice and Carrie, and Alice being a talk show host and Rosie being a former real life talk show host, lesbian talk show host. They have this kind of little banter about how Alice and Ellen are like the only ones, and there's never been another one, and like a little wink to the audience. And it was actually Leisha Haley who came up with the idea for this scene, and she requested to have Marcia write it for her. So I think that was a really like clever little thing, and I thought it was really funny and a great use of someone like Rosie being on the show. So while they were filming season 2, the filming went on for quite a significant time longer than the usual because of COVID and all these things. And we even know that there were a few people testing positive, and it caused the set to be shut down, specifically when they were shooting episode 8, Launch Party, and they were shooting the scene where Alice does like the Dana speech. They had to shut down the set on a Friday over the weekend, and then on Monday they came back and finished the rest of the scenes. And even though it was all a bit more drawn out this season, they did kind of maneuver the schedule around a bit for a couple of cast members who had some other projects that were filming. So Stephanie Allen was working on a project with her wife, Tig, and also Jennifer Beals was filming the new season of The Mandalorian. That's why I'm wearing my Star Wars jumper today. So that is going to be out this month, December, and you guys should definitely check it out just for Jennifer alone, but it is also a good show. So we went back to the CAC a number of times this season, and it was a little bit of a different CAC because obviously the original L Word was filmed in Vancouver, and where they filmed the CAC was the Waterfall building in Vancouver, Canada. So now they're filming Generation Q, obviously, in LA, mostly Silver Lake. So they had a very different location for the CAC, and they tried their best to make it look very similar, but it does have a pretty unique like glass atrium. So we didn't go back exactly to the CAC, but it was really nice again to have one of these references to the original show. And especially Bette, talking to Pippa, like I said before, about Peggy and things, it just felt really grounded in the original show, and it was really nice to be back at the old CAC. And we did even get a Provocations mention this season, because Provocations is tattooed on all of our brains, isn't it? So speaking of people from the original show, this season we had 3 characters return, and that was Alice's mum, Sherry Jaffe, and also the character of Marcus Allenwood, but we did not have the original actor return. So the original actor who played Marcus Allenwood in season 1 of the original show, he actually wasn't an actor. He was a house painter, because they were casting for this part and they just couldn't find anyone that they liked. And obviously they're in Vancouver, Canada. They're limited. It's not like LA where, you know, there's thousands and thousands of actors. So one of the writers was like, oh, this guy that's painting my house is kind of the look we want. So that's how they cast that actor. And he has a very common name too, so they weren't able to track him down, but that's why they had to recast for this part in Generation Q. So I'm sure a lot of people are aware of this, but Generation Q season 2, they were not able to have a lot of guest stars. I mean, we were supposed to have Helena, and because of COVID and everything, it wasn't able to happen. And there were also a number of other people that they were way back when they started writing in March 2020, before everything went to shit. There were some other people being batted around, because Marja has told me multiple times before, like, she wants this show to be one where like queer people come to play, and that they have a lot of guest stars that, you know, are out members of the community. So they weren't able to really do this season, and they were really limited on who could come. But there were some guest appearances at some of the watch parties for the L Word. So in New York at Henrietta Hudson's, pretty much every few weeks, I mean, there's 10 episodes, and there was definitely a handful of nights that numerous cast members went. There was one where Kate and Leisha went. There was one that we all heard about where Seppi and Ari went, and caused quite the storm. If you want to see like pictures or videos, there's some videos on my channel in the shorts playlist, and also on my Instagram there's tons of pictures. And there was also, you know, a ton of other people who went. And for the finale, the season 2 finale, at the Real Dana's, the semi-tropic in LA, there was an enormous amount of cast members that showed up, including Jennifer Beals, Kate Menning, Leisha Haley, Jamie Clayton, Leo Shang, Jack Tobani, Jillian Mercado, and showrunner Marja Lewis Ryan, and the L Word showrunner Eileen Chaikin. So I absolutely would love to make it there for that watch party for season 3. So fingers crossed the world is fixed by then. But that is the complete list today. But one last thing to add is that the announcement still has not happened for season 3. As I've said in my last season 3 update video, I really believe that the show has been renewed, and I'm using multiple sources and people that I've talked to about what they've said and what they haven't said that has led me to that conclusion. I just think they're holding the announcement until, I mean, I hate to say this because it's a little bit away, but I really don't think we'll hear anything till January now. Watch me say this and then tomorrow they announce it, because I mean, I'm filming this the 3rd of December, Friday. Nothing's going to happen at the weekend. There's only 2 weeks really left until people start shutting down for Christmas, and those offices will be like, you know, closed from probably around like the 22nd, 23rd until maybe the 2nd, 3rd. So, and you know what Christmas is like. People are in and out, and people take these days and other people take these days. So I really think that they are waiting until January now, and we will hopefully hear something then, because they got to get on it. They got to get back to writing and back to getting the show back. So I think they're probably putting all their, ducks in a row with when they announce it. They'll probably be going back to writing pretty quickly after they make the announcement, and they probably will have everything, well, not everything, but like a lot of stuff. Like they'll probably have their crew lined up and stuff. So you know that the second that we hear anything, and I'm hoping that I hear before anybody, that I will be on it, and I will be letting you guys know not only the news, but exactly everything that is going to be happening with season 3. So make sure that you're subscribed and you hit that notifications button so that you don't miss out on any content and any of my advent calendar days. So that is it for today's video. And I will, of course, be back with Miss G, who is sitting literally pressed against the camera right here. I'll be back tomorrow with another video, and don't forget that on Monday I will be live at the usual time, 7 p.m. UK, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. And make sure you're following me on social media, and you check out my Patreon, my merch store, and my second channel, which will all be linked in the description box and the comments down below. So as always, make sure to stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye guys.